my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, sing. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Hey you guys, how you doing? Jesse Blaze Snyder here, the Coolest Geek Alive. I'm actually giving you two introductions to this single episode because this episode that was on Unbreakable, Split, and Glass was supposed to come out like a month ago. For some reason, it didn't come out. When I was going through my episodes, I happened to see that it hadn't been released. And this was originally recorded as a Saturday episode. It was a couple months ago when I was in the middle of the Fucking For Our Future campaign, so I might mention a couple of those things. But yeah, you know, now it's October 2nd, and I recorded this, I think at the beginning of September or whatever. So I do want to get this episode out. I wanted to get this episode out, but when you hear me talking about Saturday show or you hear me talking about Fucking For Our Future, all that stuff's past because I recorded this a month ago. But it still stands that Unbreakable, Split, and the Glass films are a really enjoyable trilogy. So check out this awesome episode of The Coolest Geek Alive, and don't be confused about the timeline. Later. Hey, it's Jesse Blaze Snyder, the Coolest Geek Alive. How you guys doing out there, my fellow Coolest Geeks? Care Bear stare to you all. I'm so fucking excited. We're in the midst of raising for my awesome, ridiculous comic book, Fucking For Our Future, on Kickstarter right now, and we just crossed $8,000. I mean, I'm not going to be happy until we're at $100,000, and we only got 5 days left, but there's a lot more interviews and promotion and stuff to go before we get to the end, and I'm really stoked to get there. If you haven't jumped onto the campaign or any of our previous ones, my company, Blacklight District Studios, is a boutique comic book and music company. And if you help us raise a lot of money here, this is just helping to facilitate the future of this company and being able to make more stuff. It's not going into buying me jewelry. It's going into establishing this company as a publisher capable of hiring artists and keeping people working, you know? So if you want to see a change in entertainment, people who know what they're doing it at a high level, support my company, my independent company who's trying to do things the right way. Fucking For Our Future is a great place to start. It's really, really funny. It's not the lecherous, yucky sex kind of drama that you might imagine it is, because it's not gratuitous. It's actually just a comedy that just happens to kind of revolve around procreation more so than sex or desire or anything like that. Just a very funny concept about men and women splitting up on a faraway planet, and the women having to go back to seek out the men in the wilderness who have like de-evolved into animals so that they can collect sperm samples so that they can keep their race going because the cloning machines aren't working anymore. So it's just this cautionary tale of the sexes. It's a total slapstick comedy kind of thing, and honestly, I really think it's great for anybody, men, women, nobody's going to be like, this is sexist. Like, it's silly and fun and just sort of ridiculous and will basically make anybody laugh. So if any of that sounds remotely fun to you, please go check out and support Fucking For Our Future. Real quick before I get into today's coolest pick, which is kind of a three-way coolest pick today. Every Friday, I'm doing a new show called Everything They Don't Want You to Know. It's an esoteric information show like Freemasons and Illuminati, the shit that they're teaching their people behind the scenes. And trust me, this is all shit that they don't want you to know. They do not want you to understand the actual mechanisms of the universe because they got you believing this simple 2 + 2 = 2 thing. And I know 2 + 2 does seem to equal 2, but when you're applying a 2 + 2 = 2 in a 3D world that's physical and everything is just about this happened, so this happened, so this happened, so this happened, as opposed to it being a mental creation, which is really your reality. All is mind, and there is a lot to learn about your mind and how all of the minds on Earth are interacting with one another to create and shape reality. And if you're interested in stuff like that, you should go listen to the show every Friday, Everything They Don't Want You to Know. And every Monday night, I do a show called all your favorite bands suck. Currently, right now, I'm listening to a great band, Nathaniel Ratcliffe and the Night Sweats. They're actually one of the youngest bands that I've ever put on the show. Every episode is a feature of some of my favorite bands. Not a few of them, just one at a time. So if you want to get into this band, you'll see their name. Check them out. You want to get into Nine Inch Nails. You want to get into The Offspring. You want to get into Marilyn Manson, Rage Against the Machine, Flight of the Conchords, Tenacious D, whoever it might be. And I'm giving you, start with this album, check out these songs, all the stuff. So if you're a music fan, check out that show. Nathaniel Radcliffe and the Night Sweats are fucking awesome. So, tune in on Monday. And, of course, I do the show on Wednesdays where we talk, at length about things in a more detailed way. Usually I'm bitching about things or I'm gushing about something that I really love. And, of course, you can check out that show. But today, we are just talking about a coolest pick. But unlike my usual coolest picks, I'm doing a trifecta here. I'm doing a coolest trilogy. And it's not the coolest trilogy, so I'm not going to call it that, but it is good. It is really good, starting with 2000's Unbreakable, M. Night Shyamalan, who, I know, very hit and miss, that M. Night Shyamalan. We should probably take a quick discussion of just the M. Night Shyamalan movies, and so you could have an idea of which ones I've seen and what I kind of thought of those movies. Of course, this was I never saw Praying with Anger. Unbreakable was the first flick that I saw from him, I think. Wait a second. Let me get the years and stuff. No. It would have been The Sixth Sense, right? Okay, so Sixth Sense director. I'm just looking at the timeline here for everything. Unbreakable, Sixth Sense. Stuart Little. He wrote the screenplay to Stuart Little. And Wide Awake with Rosie O'Donnell. Interesting. So Sixth Sense, was everybody's introduction to Mr. M. Night Shyamalan. And then the first one I personally took note of him was Unbreakable, which came out right after that because it showed that he was a bit of a geek like me. Unbreakable, and usually I don't spoil too much in these picks, but I'll be spoiling a little bit to give you the basic concepts of these movies, how they interact together. But Unbreakable was essentially a story about a real-world Superman being discovered. And it's very, very small, very low-key. The story's told in the smallest way possible about basically how somebody might discover that they're invulnerable. They can't be hurt. And the mechanisms of how this happens is essentially I'm trying to think about how to talk about all this shit without giving away any of the good parts of the movie. All right, new approach. Because I didn't think about it deeply enough, and if I continue to go down the road, I'm going to spoil so many things that might not be as enjoyable for you. So let's just say Unbreakable is basically, on some level, a small part of the world, and a person discovers that they are a superhero in the real world, essentially. There is a movie that follows this up that is in the same world, and it's called Split, and it stars James McAvoy. The first movie, Unbreakable, stars Bruce Willis, playing a pretty low-key, kind of somber type character. And the second movie stars James McAvoy, has basically nothing to do with Unbreakable. Basically nothing. And James McAvoy is a character who has multiple personalities. And if you've ever read deeply into multiple personalities and how crazy multiple personalities can really get with people's eye colors physically changing, this is real life, guys, not a movie. People's eye color will physically change when certain, I would call them spirits, souls, come into their body to take over. They like to think, oh, this person has multiple personalities. From my personal spiritual perspective of these things, having studied Hermeticism and Kabbalah and all sorts of fucking weirdo things, we live in a world with a lot of conscious entities. A meek soul who is not willing to sort of take charge of their own life, stand up for themselves, do things that are necessary for itself, sometimes other souls, other energies will come along and will take over, either to help or because they want to help, they want to have a body and they don't have one, or whatever it might be. I know this is like some crazy level shit, but that is the cause of the eye color actually changes. And I mean, talking about these things is really important because there are tons of people who are in mental asylums and are being treated incorrectly because they're actually just hyper spiritual, very open, and are taking in the ancestors, taking in the spirits that are available. You know, when you drink alcohol and you black out and you did a whole bunch of ridiculous things, you were taking in some spirits. The same way the multiple personality sufferer is allowing different spirits into their body. So the second movie is very interesting, very different. What is her name? Ann Taylor-Johnson or something like that. She's like blonde, the Furiosa lady. I think she is the love interest in Split. This was kind of inspired by me watching Glass recently, which is the third movie in this trilogy of this like very real world rooted superhero type series. And I gotta tell you, it's really great. It was really engaging. There was a moment or two where I thought like he was going to drop the ball and the way he was telling the story and a couple of the things. And on maybe a level or two, I kind of felt a little bit like, let's just say it never goes too big. You know, it's never going to get to a place where you're like, wow, where we've reached full on superhero thing. It's going to stay small throughout all three of these movies. And, you know, I was talking about, M. Night Shyamalan as a director. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I saw Signs, and I was so excited because I loved M. Night Shyamalan's previous two movies, and I really liked Signs until the end of the movie when water was the thing that saved the family. And I was like, water? Fucking water? They came to a planet that's like fucking 90% water? Idiots! So that one I was like, eh. And then there's The Village, and that one I just it's a twist ending kind of thing. I didn't really satisfy me there. Then of course there's Lady in the Water, which I actually liked on a lot of levels. A little bit of a weird movie. A lot of people didn't really care for that one, but I like Lady in the Water okay. But then came The Happening, which I think The Happening might be the worst fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. I can remember seeing that in theaters going, what the fuck am I watching? If you didn't see The Happening, it's about the plants trying to kill humanity by releasing like spores, and the acting by Mark Wahlberg in the movie. It's really bad. It's such a bad movie. So at that point, I stopped paying full attention to everything that was going on. I don't think I ever saw Devil. I only saw bits of The Last Airbender. I heard that was bad, and I was like, nah, that's good. After Earth, only saw bits of that. I didn't see The Visit, but I did see Split because it was connected to Unbreakable, and I did see Glass. And I did see Knock at the Cabin. I mean, he's okay. He does a decent job with the various projects that he works on. Just sometimes his ideas are just a little crazy, like in a bad way. In like this is like too much. I don't know if I'm with this, but the Unbreakable trilogy is cool. It's really rooted, in the real world kind of thing. And it's very, it's small in the way that Marvel and DC need to learn how to be in their films. If after Endgame, we needed things to get smaller. We needed a Shang-Chi film that was him on the street fighting ninjas and not him shooting telekinetic rings all over the fucking place. I mean, like, what else is he using to control these rings and the magnetism, whatever? Fucking nonsense, man. Shang-Chi is based on Bruce Lee. He's the master of Kung Fu. And he's just some crazy circus attraction in that Master of Shang-Chi movie. It's completely over the top, has nothing to do with the comics, nothing to do with the source material, and it's kind of too big for its own good, where it doesn't suit and service the character, who is a little smaller. He is a kung fu master. So you got to bring the story down so the Kung Fu Master can mean something. You know, our Bruce Willis superhero character, he's not Superman. He's not shooting lasers out of his eyes. He's not flying around. But perhaps he's unbreakable. Perhaps he's very powerful and stronger and better than your average person, to such a degree that he could really have an effect in a fight. He could really help people out, and he's not going anywhere anytime soon. He could put himself through some difficult situations, and he's going to make it. Now, I didn't get to the bit about James McAvoy's character, which James McAvoy, dude, kudos to you, man. Like, seriously, that is a hard part that he's playing in this movie. I forget the number, but it's like 20-something personalities that he's got in his head. I mean, it's like a lot. It's like, it's enough that this person should theoretically lose count of how many characters they're playing, the amount of characters that they're being asked to play in a given moment. And you would think that it would lose cohesion and really not make any sense and not be so awesome, but it is. The Split movie is awesome. You know, cooler than the Unbreakable movie. And then the Glass movie, which brings the Split character and the Unbreakable character and the essential, you know, kind of quote-unquote kind of wannabe villain of Samuel L. Jackson's Glass, you know, and they all get brought into this final scenario, which is still small, but bigger than the sum of its parts. And the Split character and James McAvoy, you know, one of the personalities he has is known as the Beast. And the Beast, you know, is very little seen, you know, to a certain degree. You know, it's really, they play it up the right way of just like building and building and building to this character who is really dangerous and powerful. And, you know, they you know, just build him up with all the other personalities and talking about him and what the Beast is like. And the Beast is pretty simple in what the Beast really is. Just this monstrous persona that lives inside James McAvoy that essentially just believes it can do anything. Because it's just like it doesn't not think that it can't climb on the walls or rip somebody in half or whatever it thinks it can. So, you know, I mean, not that that's like the point that they put on it. Anything it thinks it can do. Like, that's not it's his powers or anything. But ultimately, you know, in a mind over matter sort of way with his multiple personality, all of a sudden this man comes in and it changes his body and it changes his whole physicality and what he can do. And he's nasty and scary and cool. And the Ann Taylor-Johnson character that's in there is somebody that he kidnaps, but kind of becomes like almost a love interest. But it's you know, what do you call it when the people are trapped and they come to love their kidnappers? I forget the term for that. Maybe it'll pop into my head in a second. But you know, it's like, oh, you know, they got kidnapped and they've been hostages for 24 hours and now they love their hostage takers. They're like, don't hurt the hostage takers. They're real people and we don't want them to be killed. You know, that's a little bit of the thing. And it's funny, I don't actually believe in that as like this, oh man, under a stressful situation, you know, people fall in love with their captors. I think that in most cases, so many of these things, these people, when they're they're doing it for some good reason, some passionate reason. And they're human beings and they start to explain to the people that they're kidnapping why they're doing what they're doing and what they're really trying to accomplish and that they really don't want to hurt anybody and they don't want anything bad to happen. And then all of a sudden, those people start to go, oh man, this is a human being who believes in something so much that they're fucking willing to sacrifice their life. They're willing to really do something about it. And then all of a sudden that person starts to feel humanity towards the people who are going through the thing, recognizing that they're probably going to get arrested by the end of this. They're probably going to get killed by the end of this. I don't want to see them get hurt because something real passionate, you know, something that they cared about and loved, you know, brought them to do this thing. Oh shit, it came into my head for a second what that's called. The syndrome. Whatever it is. But anyway, Anna Taylor-Johnson's character is essentially, you know, kind of comes to have feelings for him or at least feelings for the main person who is this multiple personality suffering kid who's just being kicked around by all these other personalities, all this stuff. It's very cool. Ann Taylor-Johnson's character shows up in the third movie, as does Bruce Willis's son from the first movie, which was cool to see him because he's very young in the movie, and then he's older in the third movie, helping his dad kind of be a low-key superhero. And again, I'm not like necessarily spoiling a lot because that's like a huge jump in time from the third movie to the first movie. And the first movie just sort of establishes, gets Bruce Willis essentially aware of what's going on and introduces him to the odd comic book geek, comic book fan, kind of wannabe supervillain, Mr. Glass, who is Samuel Jackson's character, which is a great role for him. Very, very interesting. As a comic book fan, as somebody who knows a lot of comic book geeks and stuff, I believe in that character. I believe his character exists on some level. I find him very interesting. And to a certain degree, any disappointment that I might have had about the third flick, the Glass movie, comes from the parts of Split, that character, and the parts of the Glass character that I find so interesting. The Bruce Willis character, the Unbreakable character, he's relatively simple, but the other characters are very interesting, for lack of a better word. And not interesting. Interesting in that way where it makes you write your own stories. When you have something really good, you get a great action figure in your hand or something like that, and like you start like coming up with things to do with the person because you're like, oh, it would be cool with them. It would be a cool kind of story to tell with them. There seems so many sort of possibilities that lend themselves to his mania, and the Split character's mania as well. That you're like, oh man, it would be great to see this see this expanded, see more of these things happen. But ultimately, I will say that the trilogy kind of brings itself to a satisfying conclusion, but a conclusion that kind of puts a button on possibilities that like might be in somebody's head about other things that could be done. So some of the possibilities that I see, I recognize I'm probably never actually going to see any of those possibilities play out. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But how nice is it to have something that's good enough that I was imagining possible things that would be cool and that I can imagine beyond just this trilogy? That's a good sign. That's a sign that they did something good. That's a sign that they did something evocative. That's probably the best word. Evocative. Something that evokes thoughts and imaginations and images into my brain as a person watching, going, oh, cool, making me think of all this cool stuff. So in the final movie, they bring in, what's that lady's name? Paula, I think is her name. She always plays a fucking cunt. Sorry for those people who don't like that word, but I feel like when it's appropriate, it's such a good word. Sarah Paulson, who, if you're a Deadwood fan like me, oh my God, she like plays this lady who comes in. She's manipulated. She comes in to help the lady who's lost her husband, and she's taking care of the Swedish girl whose families were killed by the freaking by the shitty cowboys out there in the West, and like they find her, and this lady's got her adopted, and they bring in this Sarah Paulson's character, and she's secretly working for like the bad guys, and she goes to have sex with one of the cowboys next door, and she's like so just like cold in like setting it up for them to have sex. I remember just like the first time I watched this woman, I was like, oh my God, she's like, ugh, she's so dark. Like you just want to hate her. She's such a good actress. She's so fucking good at doing that, ugh, I hate you thing. And God damn it, you're gonna hate her. You're gonna hate her in the Glass movie. She is so fucking hateable. It is not even funny. So funny. Oh, and it's not Anne, it's Anya. Anya Taylor-Joy. Not Johnson. Anya Taylor-Joy. Sorry, I was getting her name wrong. The lady from Furiosa is Anya Taylor-Joy. She's great in Split. She's great in the Glass movie. Like I said, James McAvoy, like, hats off to you, man. Just the idea that you would be playing all these ridiculous characters. Lots of them are women. Lots of them. He's got like at least a half a dozen different girl voices that he's doing. Generally speaking, there's only so many girl voices that men are prone to do. And he's got a bunch of unique girl voices that he's doing and total unique female, energy patterns and the way he's holding his hands and holding his heads and all of them are fucking authentic and he's totally in it and, just like immersed in this thing. And like, somebody who just was not quite convinced of what they were doing, it would have not been fun to watch. It would have been very uncomfortable in lots of ways. And you can be comfortable because he's just fucking so immersed in it. It's really good. It's really impressive. The James McAvoy part of this thing and the interesting character there with the multiple personalities, and because that is so interesting in real life as a subject matter, just really gives you a lot to think about. Evocative, as I said. But ultimately, bringing the superhero that is Bruce Willis's character, introduced in Unbreakable, David Dunn, and then bringing the ultimate monster character, the Beast, which is one of the personalities in James McAvoy's head. Like even when you go into James McAvoy's character, it's like he plays Patricia and Dennis, and he's got a million fucking names of all these characters that he's playing. The movie is basically to bring these two characters together, and they get brought together in a very interesting way at the end. It's sort of annoying to me because I'm like, I hate insane asylums, for one. I hate a presumption of sort of like, the idea of like somebody sitting and they're in the power position and you're, like you're an addict or you're crazy or you're like those sort of power dynamics I fucking hate. I hate that. I hate seeing people disempowered with other people lording their power over them. And the whole kind of premise of the final movie is that all three of these main superhero, supervillain-like characters, the Bruce Willis character, the James McAvoy character, and the Samuel L. Jackson Glass character, all end up in this insane asylum where they're basically trying to treat them for being superheroes. They're like trying to the lady is under the impression that they are convinced that they are superheroes and that they're crazy and that she's there to convince them otherwise. And that whole premise is a little strange and a little strained in some ways in the way that it's like depicted. If you're like me, you probably have like a little bit bump on the clunkiness of some of that the actual detail of that, of what they're doing, why they're doing it. By the time the movie ends and more information is kind of given on the Paulson character and so many other things, it's more satisfying and makes more sense and is less bothersome than when it first kind of shows up. But it definitely shows up as a little bit of a sore thummy thing of like, you people believe you're superheroes and we're going to convince you otherwise. And like, I hate the word superhero. Like, I think that that's the dumbest term to use in a world to describe people who have powers. Like, that's some dumb term that they made up to describe the funny books. Just like funny books aren't necessarily used as a term inside the comic books. The superhero, like, when you're calling them superheroes in the book, they're not superheroes. He's a hero or whatever. Like, superhero, it's just such a weird fucking term. So hearing them use that term a lot in the movie in the beginning, like, I hated that. That's the one thing about the movie that I fucking hate. But I like them. Ultimately, I liked it. Ultimately, I was engaged. Ultimately, it made me think. It evoked all sorts of imaginings of things that, Mr. Glass might get up to or the Beast might get up to or how things could be in the future, if things continued the way they were or whatever else. Ultimately, though, I finished this thing and I went, that's great. This is so cool. It's such a cool, if you're a comic book fan, it's such a cool, like, Elseworlds, Vertigo type story. It's a smaller type story, but it's handled in a really interesting way. The overarching message that's given by the end of it is very fun and kind of uplifting and interesting because it just sort of implies a lot of possibility. Despite the fact that I say, the universe kind of ends within the trilogy, it ends on a note that implies possibility existing in the world, and I really love that. And I think it's M. Night Shyamalan proving that he's a very capable director and writer, and that really at the end of the day, just sometimes it's about whether or not the risk he took with his idea was a good one or a bad one. And honestly, I'd rather live in a world with M. Night Shyamalan's taking risks and trying to do things that are different than one where nobody ever does. So it's like, so thank God for the occasional bad M. Night Shyamalan movie. I know we've made fun of him before, but I'll make fun of these DEI movies and all this other bullshit until I'm blue in the face, and I will never make fun of M. Night Shyamalan ever again. Not in any real way, because he's certainly a talented man, and I think he's just sort of brave enough to pursue ideas that scare other people, that other people might think are stupid. And I consider myself like that as a creative person. Somebody who is sometimes brave enough to explore an idea that other people are maybe a little afraid of. Fucking for our future. That's an idea that people were a little bit afraid of. Other people wouldn't necessarily gravitate towards. But I did. I'm like, this is funny. That's a very funny concept. I can build on something like that. I can build something out of that. So I forgive you, M. Night. I really do. And this trilogy really just made me a fan again. I was a fan immediately because I saw that we had some parallels, that we liked the same things. I think by the time you finish Unbreakable, Split, and Glass, you'll know that he's a geek like us, that he's a cool dude, and he's trying to make something that's cool and interesting. He's taking it seriously, and he's caring about the characters, and he's making us care about the characters. And that's the shit that matters. That's the friggin' lost art. Creating characters that people might like and might want to spend time with. Well, he does this here, and he does it so well that by the time it's over, you're going to be disappointed that you're not going to be able to spend any more time with these characters, especially Sam Jackson's Mr. Glass and the Beast and James McAvoy's a million fucking named characters that he had. I mean, really, it's pretty cool. I got to imagine James McAvoy's pretty proud of of his performance in Split and certainly in Glass by the end of it. It's a weird trilogy, it's a different kind of thing. It's basically like two separate movies that then come together with a third movie. But it is enough for a universe and to really get you going and immerse you in something superhero-like, but with that real-world angle that the studios are always trying to give it and generally kind of fail half the time, except for like Dark Knight Returns or whatever else. But this has really got it. It's very, very grounded, very, very cool. And what can I say? I recommend this trilogy. Enjoy it. If you do, write to me at jesseblaze@jessesnyder.com. I always love to hear from you guys, of course. Thank you for listening to my show. And I hope you join me again next Saturday and, of course, this coming Wednesday for another fucking ass-kicking episode of the Coolest Geek Alive. Love you guys. Care Bear Stare. You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snyder. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.
It's my favorite part! Isn't that heavy? It's gonna be fucking awesome. Coolest alive. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Stay with your tribe. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Revenge of the Geeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Week after weeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Laughing with you. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And crying sometimes too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Spelling it out. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Making you shout. I'm a genius. I got lyrics coming out me bum for days. You like that? It's a kazoo solo. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living the shit. My voice gonna be fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Get in the mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Tell all your friends. It's gonna be fucking fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see.
The podcast playground.